Because of my 3 miscarriages, I could be arrested with 3 felony counts of mistreating my children. In this video today, I'm going to talk about the similarities between abortion and miscarriage, how abortion laws affect miscarriage, and 7 must-know facts about abortion and miscarriage. If you don't already know these details, some of them may shock you. They could also potentially transform your entire way of thinking, the way that they did mine. I try to stay out of politics because in my ministry to women who've lost their children, I minister to Republicans and Democrats, conservatives and liberals. Politics is more divisive than anything, and it doesn't lend anything to my ministry. Except that a couple years ago, when Roe V Wade was overturned, politics stepped into my arena of child loss, of miscarriage and abortion. The reason it's taken me so long to share these thoughts with you is partly because of fear. I was honestly worried about what people would think. I've also had to process myself what the ramifications were of the laws that were passed and how it affects women. But more recently, women have actually been arrested for miscarriage, for mistreating their children. So not only are they dealing with the emotional loss of losing a child, now they're being accused of doing it intentionally. I cannot even form into words how angry that makes me, and it makes me angrier still that most of these women are Black. It's not okay. So after women have now been arrested for miscarrying their children, I am speaking out about it. And part of me is angry with myself that that's what it took in order for me to create this video. I've been spending a lot of time in John 4, which is the story of Jesus and the woman at the well in Sychar, a town in Samaria. If you are interested to hear what I've learned about that, the link is below in the description. So here are 7 facts about abortion and miscarriage that have changed my entire perspective of what I grew up believing and knowing and understanding. Whether you are pro-life or pro-choice or red or blue, liberal, conservative, there are things that you need to understand about what is happening in the political arena and how it affects women, how it affects families. Let's go backwards. Number 7. Miscarriage and abortion look exactly the same. I first learned the term spontaneous abortion when I miscarried my first child. And I hated the phrase because I wanted my baby. I wasn't choosing to abort my baby, and I didn't like the connotation that the word abortion had. However, miscarriage and abortion look the same. This might be TMI, but when a woman miscarries her child, she is passing large amounts of bloody tissue that ultimately the baby is cradled within. And the abortion morning after pill creates the exact same effect, the passing of bloody tissue. And there's no way to test whether a woman has taken the morning after pill or not. So a woman who's miscarried and a woman who's aborted her child are walking into an ER or a doctor's office or a hospital with the exact same symptoms. And there's no way for a doctor to tell the difference. Prior to the reversal of Roe v Wade, a doctor would treat both women. Now, because abortions are illegal, doctors are afraid to treat miscarriage because they could be accused of assisting with an abortion. And there are legal ramifications for a doctor assisting with an abortion. There are stories of women miscarrying their children in ER bathrooms and in hospital parking lots because doctors refused to treat them. This is really happening. I will include links in the description below because I'm not making this up. Women who are naturally miscarrying their children are being refused treatment because doctors cannot tell whether or not they are miscarrying or aborting their child. That is a ripple effect of the overturning of Roe v Wade. So that's fact number 7. Number 6, women have now been arrested for miscarrying their children on the grounds of mistreating their children. This is a real thing. Again, links below. Number 5. In my ministry to women who've lost their children, I have met many women who've aborted their children and ministered to them because these are mothers who miss their children. It's a true fact. And I talk to them and I ask them what their stories are. I ask them why. I ask them how they're doing. I ask them how it affected them. And I've learned that many women, many of them pro-life, find themselves in situations where an abortion is medically necessary in order to save their own lives. First woman who probably changed me the most drastically told me about her baby having a diagnosis, an infection, that not only was killing her baby, but killing her. The baby inside her was killing her. And she lived in Texas, where pro-life was not, and this was before laws were overturned. She lived in Texas, and doctors would not give her the treatment that she needed because they were afraid to treat her, because it was illegal. One doctor handed her the brochure for an abortion clinic without saying a single word, and then got a second opinion, and that doctor wrote down a phone number, no name, nothing, just the phone number. And when she called the phone number, it was for an abortion clinic. So 2 doctors told her the same thing without being able to tell her what they needed to say. This baby is killing you, and if you don't get an abortion, you will die as well. So the baby was going to die regardless, and if she didn't get an abortion, she was going to die as well. Hearing her story brought me to tears. Not only for the choice that she found herself in, but also, when does pro-life become pro-life of the mother? Can we talk about that? Some abortions are medically necessary. There is another woman who had twins, and one of the twins was dying, and the dying twin was going to kill the living twin. She had to abort the dying twin in order to save her other child's life and her life. Some abortions are medically necessary, and if we outlaw all abortions, if we tie doctors' hands behind their backs so they cannot give women the treatment they need, women will die. Not from choosing an abortion of convenience. They will die because they need medical treatment that doctors are not allowed to give them. Fact number 4, and if you're anything like me, you didn't really give much thought to this, but it makes complete sense. Abused women who get pregnant are far more likely to stay with their abuser for financial reasons, for emotional attachment reasons, possibly manipulation. So let's say a woman who's being abused is finally working up the strength and the courage to leave her abuser, and then she gets pregnant. If she has the option to abort her child, it will give her a way out of that situation. If she stays, she continues to be abused, and possibly the cycle of abuse continues, not only for her, but for her child. I'm not arguing about which choice is right or wrong. Honestly, I'm grateful that I've never found myself in a situation that required me to look at abortion as a legitimate choice, a possible best scenario. So let's just stick to facts, shall we? With abortion outlawed, statistics about abuse will skyrocket. There is a direct correlation between women who get pregnant in abusive situations and women who are able to abort children if they are in an abusive situation. Again, I'm just grateful that I never found myself in a situation where I had to consider abortion as one of my options. Fact number 3, with this ministry I've been doing for 15 years to women who've lost their children, I have heard dozens and dozens of stories of women who've aborted their children. There's not one woman I've ever met who has joyfully skipped into an abortion clinic. Growing up conservative, I heard so many judgmental comments about, oh, she's just doing it for convenience sake. She's just using it as birth control. No one brags about abortion. Have you ever heard anyone brag about abortion? I've never heard about it. There's so much guilt and shame associated with a woman who makes that choice. And that breaks my heart. Because not only is she finding herself in an impossible situation, I believe women who abort their children are making the best choice they possibly can with the circumstances they find themselves in. And after they make this hard choice, they also keep it to themselves because they're scared of judgment. Fact number 2. Many of the arguments that I have heard regarding abortion are based on logical fallacies. I've heard arguments against abortion my entire life. And when I studied them, when I looked at them, like truly listened to them, I was like, that's a hasty generalization. That's circular reasoning. That's a straw man argument. If you are curious to hear more about the fallacies of arguments against abortion, Here's fact number one. I don't know if this is you or not, but many people against abortion have never met a woman who's aborted her child. Or if they have, they've never asked her what her story is. Most people who judge women who've aborted their children are judging individuals while looking through a telescope. Do you want abortion rates to go down? I want abortion rates to go down. And I have a solution to that. I'm a Christian. My faith matters. My faith affects my entire worldview. And I believe that Christians are really dropping the ball in this arena. I believe that if Christians were doing their job ahead of time, were loving and reaching out the way they were supposed to, abortion rates would go down because they would be helping people who find themselves in difficult situations before the need for abortion even arises. My name is Sam Evan Schriver. I am the grief advocate Unedited. Feel free to hit subscribe to see more content in the future. Have a great day.